My goodness, I think we are live. Hello everybody, happy Monday, Anna Sabramwitz here. Hope you're having a fabulous day and that you had a good weekend. And here, this is what we're going to talk about today. Let me just bring up my feed so I can see everybody's comments. Listen, one of the things that a lot of us struggle with is how do we continue being creative? How do we continue crafting engaging experiences? And one of the things that we look to are, databases full of assets, full of interactions, full of templates. And I'm here to tell you today that you can actually craft something extremely meaningful and engaging and just have one type of activity. And I mean one. And you repeat it over and over. Are you excited? Are you thrilled? Are you like, oh my God, no, I don't think so, Anna? Let me tell you. Let me get into it. All right. So first, I'm just going to bring everybody up. Now, if you're visiting, you better say hi. Tell me where you're visiting from and make yourself known. I love seeing who's in on here. And if you have questions, please let me know. All right, so first, let's begin with a story because why not, right? I mean, interactive storytelling is what I'm about. And let me tell you a story. So when I started freelancing, well, one of the things that, and of course I started freelancing because I was like, oh man, if I could just do my own work, then what would happen is I could be just as creative and awesome and I could really put together the things that I wanted to put together because gosh darn it, the world was holding me back, the status quo was holding me back, my clients didn't understand, and all I needed to do was go out there in the world and things would change. And so that's not exactly what happened. Actually, what happened is a lot of more of the same. And one of the things that I found is every time a client would come to me with projects, and I would attract all kinds of people from all over, right? And so what they would do is a lot of them would come in with ideas about what they already wanted, right? You've probably been there, done that. Even if you work in an internal department, people come in and they already have ideas about how the thing they want is gonna work and look and feel and all that stuff. And that's actually not true, by the way, and I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. And so what I did is every time a project would come up, I'd be like, okay, well, why don't we invent something new, a new interaction for this customer? Why don't we invent a new type of game or engagement activity? And so what happened as a result is I'd have this, I kid you not, this was the most epic thing ever. I had this epic deck of all these screenshots of all these activities that I'd made. And every time a new customer would come in, I'd be like, look at this. And then they'd be like, yeah, but what about us, right? And I'm like, oh, let me make you something new. Let me make you something custom for you and beautiful for you and innovative for you. And so this thing would keep growing. It's like a monster, a Frankenstein monster, I call it, of stuff. And I'd send it to my clients and I would want to throw up when I sent it to them because, to be honest with you, I had no clue what they were going to come back with and then how I would scope and price that and then all the work that it takes to actually, put together this stuff that actually means something, and just because it works in one context doesn't mean it'll work in the next, and I'd have to negotiate with them. Like, it was just terrifying. It was terrifying. I thought it'd be more creative, but it was actually just more terrifying. And like I said, every time I sent it out, I had this dread. And I've heard other people call it like the dread of starting the new project because you have no idea. It's like tabula rasa, right? The thing is just carte blanche, and really you've sent them ideas, but all it did is it just made them think about new ideas, and it's terrifying. And then also, this is what happened. I got this project, and what happened is it ended up being, I kid you not, like hundreds of slides from live presentations, and then that were converted into like terrible e-learning presentations. And we were supposed to like take these things and make them engaging, right? So me and my partner Ryan, we were like, how the hell do we make 400 slides engaging? And you fall into this crazy trap of believing that every single slide has to be like this new experience, right? How am I sharing this stuff in a cool and new way? And I gotta tell you, he's pretty creative, and so he came up with all kinds of stuff, and I was like, man, this is awesome. And then eventually, after we, just wanted to hurt ourselves after that project, one of the things that happened was, how can we do this? Like, how can you do this for life? Like, how can you do this and keep wanting to be creative? And how come it's getting harder and harder and harder to come up with new stuff? I mean, the industry's telling me millions of assets. I should be able to come up with stuff like this, right? Like, look I just pull stuff in. This is the problem, right? Because, and then you're like, how can I be more creative? How can I come up with new things? And in my community, by the way, I have an awesome Facebook group if you haven't joined it yet. It's called e-learning, engaging e-learning. I'm always stuck on e-learning secrets because that's where my case study sits. So if you want to check out my case study about interactive storytelling, that's where it sits, elearningsecrets.com. But somebody posted a game that you could make with like Pac-Man, right? You can make a Pac-Man game in Articulate Storyline. And I was like, why would you make that if it's already existing? Why would you make a game in Storyline and try and like fit that square peg in a round hole, right? And I was like, you know what we're looking for? We're looking for more ways to engage people in this medium, because the reason we have to do that is because we're dressing up content, right? And how do you make content exciting? I know by hiding it under a bunch of little flippy things. I know by organizing it and disorganizing it. I know by putting it in a crossword puzzle. That's the kind of stuff we have to come up with. And I thought, this is stupid. I can't do this for the rest of my life. I don't want to have to come up with 50 million activities. There's another story that's related to that, but I'll tell you that on a different day. So then what happened is started looking outside of our world, where we're an academic based, we borrow from these academic principles which suck. I'm sorry. It's content dumps upon content dumps upon content dumps. And now what we're doing is we're taking these content dumps and making them interactive, and it still sucks. That's not learning. How does learning happen? By people making decisions, right? And facing the consequences of those decisions. And then if they feel they have a gap, they'll go out and find the content. So how can you do something that's cool and it only takes one damn activity and helps me focus on the stuff where I can be creative, which is visual communication and great storytelling and writing really solid, awesome questions that have really solid, awesome options and scenario and consequences, right? How can I do that? Well, you can, right? You really can. If you think about what an interactive story is, or even a really powerful scenario module, it is a question, right? I call this pearls. It's a scenario. It is with choices and consequences, right? And they drive you to the next scenario with choices and consequences. The pattern does not change. Now, other industries have been using this unashamedly. For some reason, we think we have to make all of this up, but that's because we're dressing up content. But games, what do games do? Games help you make decisions as much as possible, as soon as possible, and they don't even apologize for the fact they're using the same 4 buttons over and over, because you know what they want you to do? They want you to focus on the decision, not the user interface, not the novelty of the page. Right? They want you to focus on the context. They want you to focus on the decision you need to make, why you're making that decision, reflecting on it. That's what they care about. They don't care about what the UI looks like. Imagine if every game you played, every page, every new level, you had to figure it out all over again. That would be so frustrating. But that's what we're doing to people in e-learning. We're like, surprise, new thing, flip the tabs. Surprise, new thing, drag and drop. Surprise, new thing, target with clicky buttons. It's a pain in the butt. It's not helpful. Only if you're teaching somebody how to professionally click and reveal are you actually helping them in any way. And I don't know about you, but I've never met anybody who said, when I ask them what they do, that they're a professional click and reveal person, because that's what we are becoming, right? We want to help people make good decisions. The other thing I want you to think about, this is cool too. Have you ever, and it's funny because we're kind of on the inside, so we don't look at this from that perspective, because we're like, oh, they already know. It's kind of like, if you're running a presentation and you messed up and you're like, oh, I messed up. You're the only one who knows. The audience doesn't know. The final product is not, they don't know what it's going to be, right? So we're always stressing. We're like, oh, they've seen this already before. They're going to be frustrated. No, they're not. Help them focus on the most important thing. Now, have you ever been personally, have you ever had a test where like question 5, you're like, this is so boring. Why do they keep on asking questions? Imagine if the next time you crafted an e-learning experience, it was just questions. What? That's what scenario-driven modules are. Just questions. Let them search out the information. Let them search out the information on their own, even. Questions. Imagine if you had just had 15 questions. Why don't people do this? Because this is hard. It's hard to craft good questions. Most people are okay, just okay at crafting content, even making it readable and helpful to people. Now imagine now learning how to write good questions. This is not a skill set that most people possess, and most people get lazy, give it up, right? But if you get good at writing good, provocative, contextual questions, you will win. I guarantee you, you will win. The questions are more important than the content, than the answers, than anything. You ask good, provocative questions, people will walk into your sessions, people will walk into your virtual sessions with ideas, with opinions, with experience, all kinds of stuff. You dump content at them, you're basically saying, I don't care about what's in your mind, just, upload this, right? So what I'm saying is when I discovered that you could craft amazing, powerful, meaningful, behavior-changing e-learning experiences, and the only thing I had to figure out is my first interaction, and then make sure that these are just as powerful questions and have really awesome contextual options and consequences, I won. Guess what? Now I can start all my projects knowing the scope. I know all I have to do is figure out one activity. The most important thing I think about, how do I craft an awesome story, and how do I get the practitioners to talk to me so I can figure out what kind of challenges they're facing every day so I can bake this into the process. Now I can now begin a project saying, hey, do you want an interactive story that has 6 questions? Do you want an interactive story that has 9 questions? What's your budget? Because this is the product. And they love it. They absolutely love it. Because they understand that there's power in this. Nobody's offered them this. And sure, will there be times where somebody's going to go, where's my content? Oh, that's no problem. There's room for content. If you want to know where to put that content, check out some of my other lives. I actually talk about where to put content and feedback in these experiences because there's a strategic way to do it that actually helps somebody find its value before being, force-fed it if you put it in the wrong spot, right? So check out my other lives, or my YouTube channel has these recordings on there as well. But does this not take the pressure off you to be creative? And the one thing that's awesome is that story, you don't come up with that either. That's a story that comes from the context of those people that you're trying to influence, right? They come up with those stories for you. And I actually have if you actually want to check out my study, at elearningsecrets.com, I actually tell you the 4 questions. There's more than that, but I give you the 4 questions to get started with that so that you can start getting stories out of people, because most people aren't used to telling you stories, right? Most people aren't used to thinking about the things that went wrong. So, fun, right? I don't think I could have appreciated this model unless I had gone through those 444 slides, and crafted them and really felt the pain. So if that's something you feel like is really something that you could resonate with, and you really want to start doing things differently and really start crafting, engaging e-learning experiences, check out my case study. You will love it. It will resonate with you, hopefully. And there's some strategies and tools there that you can apply right away to your own context. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope this sets your week up in the right way. Action. All right. If you have any questions, any aha moments, you better post them here. It's wonderful to have you here. And I just wanted to say, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to stop by, say hi, and actually watch this, because I know you could be doing a million other things, but right now what you're doing is you're investing in you and investing in your own skill set. And I think that is awesome. All right. So I hope you have a fabulous rest of the day. I'll be here around the same time tomorrow. So tune in. And if you want to see the past 2 weeks of basically me, it's 6 weeks, guys, of just deconstructing interactive stories, also working with stakeholders, how to use feedback, basically anything that you'd like to know about interactive storytelling and crafting your own piece or crafting your own project. It's there. I know not everybody can afford to work with me and in my coaching program, but if you follow these strategies that I've shared with you, you will be like 10x better at interactive storytelling and engaging people than you've ever been before. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. If you do like this video, make sure you like it, and then you'll get a notification right away when the next time I am live. All right, take care, friends. And thank you so much for being here. Luke, Pratibha, Shreyas, so awesome to have you here. Take care, everybody. Hi, Deanne. Awesome. Thanks very much. Bye.